Lara has looked good all through the series, all through the run chase, and it was also a day when others batted well around her as South Africa have chased their highest successful total in ODI cricket, and they've clinched the five-match ODI series against India 3-1 with a game to spare. We'll talk more about that game on the Outside View Live, powered by Aprilia and Vespa. Before that, let's have a look at the SXR 160.
You're late.
Don't just like six-handed.
What a game we've had. South Africa chasing their highest successful chase in ODI cricket, 269 for 3. They were set 267 to win by India at the India, but it wasn't to be. We'll get down to it. We'll take the thoughts of Boria Majumdar and Yash Lahoti on the Outside View Live, powered by Vespa and Aprilia. Boria, first tell me, throughout that chase, were you settled at any point in your chair or couch, wherever you were?
I lost you there because of the audio. Come again?
Yeah, I asked you whether you were sitting easy in your couch or chair throughout that run chase.
I was irritated, to be honest. It was quite frustrating. I mean, when you have 270 on the board, you expect discipline and very basic discipline. That was lacking. At no point in time was India able to exert pressure. Now, all the captain needs is the bowlers to bowl to fields. Take Radha Yadav. Take the 40th over. Perfect example. Two shots from the same area when you have not kept a deep cover. Penetrating the two fielders there, 2 boundaries. Then to compensate, you bowl short and you are pulled to mid-wicket for another boundary. I mean, come on. Yeah, and Radha Yadav may be making her ODI debut, but she's been around for a fairly longish time in T20 cricket. So it's not as if she's a rookie. She's not. She's got enough of experience in international cricket. It was a very amateurish bowling performance, lacking any kind of discipline. Jhulan Goswami was very sorely missed. Clearly indicates the Neetu David selection committee got it wrong and horribly wrong. Shikha Pandey was badly missed. So was Ekta Bisht. So you clearly now see that if you can't look, 270 firstly is a very good score. Whoever tells you whatever, number one. Number two, 270 should at least allow you to exert pressure. Even if South Africa wins, did you feel pressure? They were completely in control of the chase at every point in time. Except when those 2 wickets fell in that little period when India was trying to come back. Every time South Africa was in control. Now that tells you how poor your bowling was. Mansi Joshi. She has been in and around the team for a fairly long time. Look at the line. Either she will bowl wide of the off 6-7, giving enough room for the batters to free your arms and play. Why can't you just bowl stump to stump? Because you don't have that pace to hurry anybody. There was no swing on offer. Ball was not moving. I mean, again, I don't want to go on and on. Let's put it this way. It was a very poor bowling performance which let the batting unit down.
Yeah, fair point. And as a follow-up, I would like to also ask you whether the lines that the Indian spinners, left-arm spinners especially bowled at the start surprised you, because we've been seeing them fire it on the pads or middle and leg, whereas they could have probably tried that off-stump line. So any could you kind of make sense of what strategy?
No, even when Rajeshwari eventually picked up Mignon Dupree, it was a often middle line, and you come down. But if you see from the start, think about it, when Rajeshwari where have the runs come? Outside off, they were allowed to cut, they were allowed to free their arms, and you don't have a deep cover. I mean, so either you tell your captain that you want it there. Radha Yadav, I think, gave I don't know for certain, but from memory, if you think back, I think about 15 boundaries went to the same position. 15 to 20 boundaries. That is criminal, frankly. You cannot do that. I mean, you cannot bowl that line, allowing the batsman to either late cut, get past third man 4, get past cover 4. Come on, man. I mean, it's frustrating. Yes, I understand it was a comeback series. Yes, I understand the experiments and all that, but international cricket is international cricket. You can't just lose momentum like this. So this was a poor effort from India.
Yeah, poor effort indeed. Fair points. We'll come to the South African side, which deserves a lot of praise. But Yash, while we are on the Indian topic, previous match at the close, we discussed whether India's spinners are kind of ineffective, and today we went with a bevy of spinners, none of whom kind of seemed threatening enough. Is that a problem going ahead? You think? Would you kind of go to the extent of saying that India's spin cupboard seems bare at this point?
I think so. It is more of a selection. So if Harmanpreet Kaur ends up being your best spinner of the day, that shows your rest of the spinners haven't done that well. And if your spinners are bowling the power plays, if your spinners are bowling throughout, and it's only one pacer you have who's also not the best. You don't have Jhulan Goswami, you don't have Shikha Pandey. Ultimately, no one is telling Mansi Joshi that, oh, okay, you're doing this particular thing wrong. So, for example, when Jhulan Goswami is there, she guides Mansi Joshi that, oh, okay, you're doing this thing wrong, you have to do this thing correct. But that's not happening. There is no ekta best. So, ultimately, I think so it is more of a selection failure than anything otherwise.
Absolutely correct. This defeat should be ascribed to the Neetu David selection committee. They got it horribly wrong. You want to experiment, I understand. A comeback series is not the platform for experimentation. None of the girls have played international cricket for a good number of times. So no question of leaving out somebody and resting someone and checking someone. Put your best team on the park, let the girls get back to rhythm. That is what was expected. Yash is right. There should have been Shikha Pandey. There should have been Ekta Bisht. There should have been Tanya Bhatia. If you look at the combination, the moment Jhulan Goswami went out because of injury, you have no one. You have no one to stand at mid-on and mid-off and be the leader in that bowling unit, guide Mansi Joshi, be the presence out there. She was lost, Mansi Joshi, standing in the middle of the wicket, not even sort of figuring out what is going on, because once the pressure was put, there was nothing there. So this is a selection howler. And importantly, there has to be accountability taken. So I don't want to stretch the point more, but yes, going forward, there will be more series. You've got to get your main players back, got to get it right. Had Jhulan not played, Shikha played, she would have been the lead bowler and taken control.
That's the point I would like to add. Is, for example, Jhulan was injured, which Mithali told at the toss. So Shikha Pandey, had she been there, she would have guided Mansi Joshi, which Boria is saying very correctly that she had no idea what right she was doing or what wrong she was doing.
Yeah, and this is, we are talking on 14th March, Sunday, and a day before or 2 days before, Shikha Pandey turned up in the domestic game with a 3 for 10. So that's a sweet reminder for everybody watching. We'll kind of move to South Africa. Yash, that opening combination, man, how can you kind of stop them? Their second time 100-run stand this series, and they already put a 169 in the first ODI, and today they were there 116 before Lizelle Lee fell. So Lizelle Lee fell. So that is a start, that's the base that South Africa have got. And your thoughts about those two?
So I think so. There are 2 points here. First point, South Africa have analyzed very well. They have a video analyst. They have analyzed how exactly the Indian bowlers bowl, who bowls where. There has been a complete analysis. And they have taken good points from their last defeat of 2019. When you had covered the series in Surat and Vadodara, they have taken it. Marizan Cup, I think so, has helped understand that how do you tackle the spinners very well. And this time, it has been a completely different show. Your best spinner on the ground, Poonam Yadav, has no idea what's going on. Radha Yadav, who made her debut, completely clueless. Rajeshwari Gaikwad may have been the best out of the 3, but still she was not that much in control. That completely shows that South Africa have understood their mistakes. They have worked on it. They have even worked out after the Pakistan series. Whenever they came to know about the India series, they have analyzed it pretty well and they have executed. Lizelle Lee, Laura Vulva, there has been a lot of talent in both of them. They have been very consistent, but Laura Vulva has been consistent throughout. Lizelle Lee hasn't been that consistent. Usually it has been like okay, she'll perform in one out of the 5 games or 2 out of the 5 games at max. This is a different Lizelle Lee. When we had a chat with her in 2019, she was like, I want to be the best cricketer on this planet. I want to be on that magazine cover with Smriti with the magazine which we had given to her that time. She is making sure that yes, I am the best cricketer. It was very easy for her to tong the balls.
Yeah, she shouldn't make this thing so easy. She'll score a lot of runs and then obviously she'll be on the cover and then we can't run our social media campaigns. But let's talk a bit more about South Africa. Remember, this is not a fluke. This is not a one-off because last year in New Zealand, ahead of the T20 World Cup, they had chased 260 for 3 versus New Zealand in New Zealand. So it's been a settled combination. They've been there. They've done that. It's just that this brilliant execution on this tour, and who better than Lara Goodall, who I'm going to again say has been good throughout the series, good all this innings, all this series. Boria, what aspect of that left-hander has impressed you a lot? Because today there was a different aspect towards the close where we saw her attempting those reverse sweeps. So your thoughts
but
on
by
Lara
then the
Goodall?
game was gone. By then the game was gone. I mean, she's a very fluent striker of the ball. If you see, she's very pleasing to the eye, like many left-handers are. Dances down the track. She was hesitant at the start. I thought India could have put more pressure. When the 2 wickets were down, you could have gotten a slip in, you could have gotten a short leg in, or you could have tried something to upset the rhythm. But that's where the bowlers need to be disciplined. A lot of people are tweeting to us saying, oh, we lost because Mithali Raj played a test match-like innings. I'm sorry, Mithali Raj did not let the team down. Priya Punia did not. Poonam Rao did not. Some people are writing, oh, Poonam Rao played a test. For God's sake, this is South Africa's highest run chase. If anybody gave us 270 at the start of the innings, we would have taken that. And that is irrespective of Mithali Raj, Poonam Rao, Priya Punia, anybody. So 270, if you think is a bad score, then you are an absolute duffer. So let's be clear about it. First, you try and understand your game, then come and criticize people. It is not about simply going and criticizing people. That's not the point. The point is India got a good score on the board. India was unfortunately not able to exert any kind of pressure. And it is because of one reason Yash mentioned, South Africa came well prepared. But the balls did not turn also. This was not a wicket where the spinners could... Look, Poonam Yadav is our strike weapon. How many wickets has Poonam Yadav picked up? Or how many times have you seen Poonam Yadav able to beat the batsman? She is going round in her first over, then tossing it up. So you are clearly taking LBW out of the equation. One dismissal gone. So you are bowling with a defensive field when you are defending 270. So there are many reasons here. And that is why I say it is not about the batting unit. It is about the bowling unit and the selection. 3 bowlers who are part of your top 5 aren't playing. Shikha, Jhulan and Ekta. And that has cost India. Make no mistake, that has cost India. Also Tanya. Because couple of chances, if you see Lara Goodall was down. She was down. And if you take that much time to remove the bails, it's a problem. So I understand Sushma Verma and giving her a long rope and all of that, but you've got to ask some serious questions because this was a comeback series. You need your best. And Shikha Pandey has shown in domestic cricket what she can do. So I would expect her to make a comeback as soon as the next series comes by.
And today also, Shikha has actually got Goa to another win. She was not out on some 35 odd runs.
She is making the right noises there. And while India continue to struggle, talking about Sushma, she's someone who's been there. She's an experience, so you can't also say that she's been given a long rope, etc. But yes, coming to you on Mignon du Preez, we have one in. We ideally should have had one of our flag bearers of Mignon du Preez. But she's been really good in the last 2 games. Last match, you almost threw the game away, but today almost ensuring that she stays there till the end. The seeds were actually sown in that WBBL season, wasn't it? She was aggressive, she was attacking, using her feet. The thoughts on her innings in today's game especially?
Mignon du Preez has transformed like no other player has. Guess the KSL of 2017, just before 2018, sorry. Just before that, Mignon du Preez was someone who used to bat at a strike rate of 60, 70 or something. She would not clear your boundaries. with ease. But after that, that particular World Cup gone, after that, the way she has turned herself into especially a T20 player, she was always a good ODI player, into especially a T20 player has been remarkable. The way she has turned herself, now she's able to clear the ball, clear the ground. She's able to hit those sixes. She's able to come down, dance down the track and clear those boundaries. In our one meeting with her in 2019 tour, she is one of the finest persons you will meet. They call her the Madonna of South Africa, and she's clearly shown why she is one of the best. She has transformed her game like no other player has, improved her strike rate, given consistently rotates that strike. Even if she is not able to hit a particular ball for a 4 or a 6, but she's continuously rotating the strikes. She's very active and she helps the other non-striker. Lara Goodall, very young player, but the way she has spoken continuously with Mignon Dupree and the way this particular game has happened, complete credit to Mignon Dupree. She's one of the best.
Yeah, we always rave about MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli's running between the wickets in men's cricket, but those of you who have watched Mignon Dupree might agree if she's probably better than them, if not the best going around. But 61 of 55 balls, a 6 as well, charging down the track as Yash mentioned. So 269 for 3, a 7-wicket win for South Africa. Let's move on to our Aprilia performer of the match. Boria, coming to you first so that no one steals things away from you. Who's your pick for the performer of this game?
You have to say Lizelle Lee because she set it up. I mean, Mignon Dupree closed it out, but the setup was perfect from Lizelle Lee. I mean, that 116-run stand sort of took India's thunder away. They were forever on the defensive. They couldn't get catchers in. They couldn't get close-in fielders in. And it was an excellent innings. Excellent innings. The way when Radha Yadav was introduced into the attack, or the first few overs, she was going run a ball, more than run a ball at one point in time, some extraordinarily good shots. So I will say she set up the chase and then Dupree finished it. So, but for me, it will be Lizelle Lee.
Lizelle Lee for Boria. Yash, what's your pick for the Aprilia performer of the match?
Just because he's gone for Lizelle Lee, I was going to go. I'll go with Mignon Dupree, the way she's closed it. And the way she's partnered with her young partner in Lara Goodall and taken the innings through. It was a difficult time because both your set batters were out. She came up and she's the only player alongside Kaap who strike at more than 100 strike rate. So that in itself is commendable. She was able to rotate those strikes and was able to clear the boundary whenever there were bad balls. So I'll go with Mignon Dupree.
Right, series gone for India, and not so many yay moments if you are an Indian supporter. But here we are to our next segment, yay or nay.
Just before that segment, I'll just like to add, although India was without Shikha Pandey, Ekta Bish, Tanya Bhatia, and a lot of other players, we need to give complete credits to this South African team. They don't have their first choice captain Danevan Nikak, second choice captain Chloe Tryon, third choice captain Sunil Lees, and still they have been able to perform. So it's a South Africa which is depleted already. So they don't have a lot of their quality players. They don't have their first choice wicketkeeper Trisha Chetty. Sinola Jafta is keeping the wickets right now. So we need to give complete credits to the South African side also, that they have been able to create those backups. This is what is needed, that when you say that, okay, fine, we are resting or dropping a player, you have enough backups ready. So for example, this is not the series to actually, and the good thing is what South Africa does is whenever their senior players go for a WBPL or something or the other, or they are taking rest, South Africa usually has an emerging side who play against the Bangladesh and other low ICC ranked sides. That is how they create their team. India, if they want to try out a Monika Patel or someone else, they also need this. They also need to create these players in emerging setup and not in an international series. That's my point. I think so, and I think so. Boria, you'll agree there.
See, the fact is India did not have that opportunity for whatever reason in the last 12 months. I mean, you should have gone with them in the domestic circuit. You have now started domestic cricket. Every day you have games. So give your Monica Patels of the world domestic games, and you should have gone with your tested Shikha Pandey and Ekta Bisht and Tanya Bhatia in the international series. That's how, frankly, you should have done. Again, I mean, while we are being critical, let's not be very harsh here. This is a series where people tried a few experiments. Okay. But you should not have done that. Let's be clear about it. You should not have done that. So better learn, because the World Cup is under a year away. Your batting is holding good except a finisher. Harmanpreet Kaur is alone in terms of the real power hitting, because your Poonam, and so basically 4, 5, 6. Once Mitali, post Mitali, Harman, Deepti, the consistent power hitting is lacking there. So maybe Shafali Verma can be thought about. It's important that Jamie Rodriguez gets back to form, because she starts well with Smriti Mandhana, sets it up, and then Poonam and Mitali can sort of steer the foundation before we have a finish. That's point number 1. And point number 2 is your bowling. India has had very good spin options, and that is what has worked for us. Unfortunately, the wickets were also not conducive. We lost 3 tosses. So all these factors one has to keep in mind. It's okay. We will want to get back. Actually, you know what? If the wickets are conducive to bowlers, India does better. India always does better. Yes. Because the South African side would have floundered against spin. That didn't happen because these were good batting decks, the last 2 at least. And you won the toss, you put India in, you chase them down. It's okay. It's okay. Everything is a learning curve, but get your main people back as soon as possible.
Yeah, get them back as soon as possible. But for now, yay or nay moment. Yes, let's go ahead with your picks first. What's your yay moment and what's your nay moment of this 4th ODI?
Yay moment is all the top 4 batters scoring more than 50 runs. That rarely happens. And as Hypoghost has tweeted, this is the first time it is happening in a women's ODI chase. So you have to give credit that each player was consistent enough, scored more than 50 runs. Of course, there were 3 wicket slots, and then Marizan Cup hitting those 22. So that was the yay moment for me, because these things rarely happen. Sometimes when it happens, that shows how consistent your team was, how each batter was prepared for that particular run chase. And yeah, it makes complete sense. So that's my yay moment. And my nay moment was the spin bowling of India, and also the selection. But selection, we have spoken a lot. But yeah, the spin bowling of India, it wasn't great. Not great in the sense that it was below average. It was bad. You need to really work out that, what are things I am doing wrong? You need to analyze those things, and you need to come back stronger. So that's my nay moment.
Boria, your picks?
See, my yay moment will be Poonam Raut's 100. It will give her a hell lot of confidence, and she's been consistent right through the series. That is the kind of job you expect of her. 100 of 115, 118 balls, you will take that any day. However much people are critical on social media, that's okay. I mean, trolls are trolls. You don't take trolls seriously. For me, the yay moment was Poonam Raut. The nay moment, and also Harmanpreet Kaur, by the way. The yay moment was Harmanpreet's fantastic innings. So that gave us enough, I think, to sort of win this one. Nay moment, Radha Yadav. I know it was her debut, but both Yash and I thought Radha Yadav, I mean, firstly, she was very slow. Very, very slow. One expects with the faster action, she's faster than Rajeshwari Gaikwad. Hurry the batsman in, bowl that middle and leg, hurry it in, through the arm. It just didn't happen. Lack of discipline. And that 40th over for me, I mean, it was a shocker. Couple of boundaries there, one there. I thought that's the over that completely killed the game for India. So that's my nay moment. Having said that, you cannot just be too harsh on a debutant. So you would expect Radha Yadav to learn her from her mistakes here and improve. But for God's sake, get your main players back. And the nay moment is also about the selection committee.
Right, then let's move on to the final 5th ODI. 3-1, India has lost the series, 1 game to play. Let's look ahead to that. First thoughts from you, Yash. What's the areas are there any areas, first of all, for South Africa to work on? Because it seemed that this was almost a perfect game for them. The bowling kind of was expensive, but the batters chased it down. And as Boria mentioned, almost through the chase, they looked in control. So any particular areas where you see South Africa need to tighten their screws?
I think so. Their bowling, their batting has looked pretty comfortable in 3 out of the 4 matches that they have played. Their bowling hasn't looked exceptional. You don't expect a Shabnim Ismail the way she has bowled in the entire 4 matches. You don't expect that of her. You expect pretty good performances out of her. Even Marizan Kaap was not great, particularly today. She's been good throughout, but she wasn't good today. Yes, so their bowling is a bit of concern because when basically someone scores 270 of your bowling, that bowling is not good. So their bowling, I think so, is a cause of concern, and I think so they will need to improve on their bowling. Their batting has looked pretty satisfying, but again, when you have a Suneli is back, you have the players who've been left out of this 2 innings. When they come back, how does your batting look? So is it going to be that Suneli comes back at a position of number 3? Goodall gets 4, Dupree gets 5. Is that going to be the case? Or because you have now a settled batting at Goodall at 3 and Dupree at 4, do you put Suneli's at 5? Something like that. So that will need to work out. But especially their bowling is something that will need a lot of effort. They'll need to analyze where they are doing wrong, and they need to come back on their bowling side.
Yeah, and Boria, we've talked at length about what went wrong for India, and those are some of the areas they need to work for Raman and co. But what are the changes you foresee in this Indian setup? Because surely the same 11 might not come out to field on Wednesday.
See, first things first. I mean, the question implies that it's a dead rubber. There is nothing called dead rubber in international cricket. When you have a point system going, when you have every match important, when you have a comeback series going on, when you need to get ready for an international contest some months down the line, there is nothing called dead rubber when you are wearing the India jersey. Okay, so put your best 11 on the park. Having said that, what is your best 11? Do you actually know? That is the biggest question that is confronting this Indian side at the moment. We don't know. From the evidence at hand, we have not put our best 11. Do we get, for example, Jhulan Goswami, if she's fit, obviously makes a comeback. Do you drop Radha Yadav after one game? Do you drop Poonam Yadav now? Do you sort of get someone in? So important questions, very important questions confronting the Indian side. W.V. Raman is a very good thinker of the game. So is Mithali Raj. One would expect them to get into a huddle and give us some solutions. Be more assertive in the selection committee. The buck will stop with the coach and captain. And frankly, let's put it this way. However much South Africa might win, if you actually get the Indian side full strength, they're a very good ODI unit. And you would want them to show that as soon as possible, maybe from the next game itself. So there is plenty to look forward for India and get it back as soon as possible. I will still say this Indian side will go into World Cup 22 because by then everything will get okay. They will know World Cup 22 as one of the favorites. However much you think, South Africa beat us 3-1. Doesn't matter. One series, one aberration, doesn't matter. They are a good enough team in the biggest wickets of Australia, New Zealand to put pressure. We've seen our spinners do well. So I have every reason to believe India will come back.
Boria, one question I would like to ask. Smriti Mandana injured her shoulder, was out. Jimmy Rodrigues fielded the entire innings. For example, Smriti gets ruled out of the next game. Who do you see opening with Priya Punia?
Jimmy. Jimmy. But having said that, when Smriti Mandana stood up and then she was doing this to the shoulder with the physio, I didn't see the injury as serious. I mean, maybe one game, yes, but it did not sort of really seem serious to me that she couldn't stand up, couldn't walk. Even when she was walking, she was moving the shoulder and the arm. Absolutely. So she was okay. So again, I mean, she has been inconsistent in terms of giving us one match-winning knock and then promising to deliver without converting. Very Smriti Mandana. So you would want her to become far more consistent, like what Lizelle Lee has been this series, right? So you would want every possible opportunity to be used as game time. So unfortunately, if she goes out, then obviously Jamie Rodrigues comes in, because in the long term, if you actually close your eyes and think, will India need her in World Cup 22? The answer is yes. So you've got to get her back. And the moment this series is done and the T20 is over, any number of domestic games these girls can play, get them there. Get them to play. they need more and more game time. So I'm delighted. I mean, I keep following domestic cricket. I'm delighted that domestic cricket has started, because this roundup, the fact that they're now going to play, you will know who, why. Because, I mean, if somebody said to you, Monica Patel, you were also, I mean, the selectors, we've been critical of them. They were also shooting in the dark. There's nothing in front of them to have picked a team except performances of a year back. So now after domestic cricket, international cricket, they will also know who, when, why. So they will also have a clear opportunity to go about their business in a far better manner.
Right then, for all those who love quizzes, etc., just kind of have it in your record. This is the highest successful chase against India in ODIs as well, beating Sri Lanka's record that they had made in 2018. That's a wrap for the fourth ODI between India and South Africa from the Outside View Live, powered by Vespa and Aprilia. But remember, there's one more ODI to go in this series before we turn our eyes towards the T20Is. So do join us for that in the build-up on Wednesday. And till then, take care, wear masks, and keep smiling.
You're late.
Don't just live life, maxify it.